If ever there was an industry that would benefit from distribution, it's the limousine business. Here with an innovative approach is Alan Kushmakoff of CheapLimoRates.com.
No. Jordan Stolper, Gliider.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. My mistake. I looked at. Okay, let's start all over again. Online travel shopping can be painful. Next company has developed some cool tools that relieve that pain. I'd like to introduce Jordan Stolper of Gliider.
Thanks, Bob. Morning, everybody. Jordan Stolper with Gliider. Very excited to be here. So the Gliider story is very much my own story. Last year, I was planning a trip to Thailand with a friend, and we would wake up on Sunday mornings and, look at all the hotels and activities and all the fun stuff that we could do, but we realized we had no good place to hold on to all this stuff. We bookmarked stuff, which is just a mess because, you've got this long list of stuff and you go back to each page and you don't know what you wanted. We pasted stuff into Word documents, which is just, I don't recommend that. It's another bad solution, really. And we printed stuff out, which is probably the worst because you're pickling your information. I mean, something I print out and shove into a manila folder is not going to get any newer. So we concluded in the end that there's just not a good way to hold on to all your travel information and keep it fresh. And that's why we built Gliider, which is to change all that. Sound? Sound, guys? Hello?
I head to a white...
We'll just start that again.
Every year, for my 2 weeks of vacation, I head to a white sand beach, a city, or away from it all. And the other 50 weeks? Well, I'm thinking about my next vacation, which means I'm searching the web to find hot new hotels in Vegas, the best sushi in New York, or that perfect surf spot in Costa Rica. But where do I keep all the useful travel info I find? My bookmarks are a mess, and printing is such a hassle. So I use Gliider. Gliider is a research tool that lets me gather and save travel info from across the web. With Gliider, the fun of travel begins the moment I decide to go. Here's how it works. When I come across travel info I want to save, I just click the Gliider button on my browser, and down pops Gliider. I use my mouse to highlight the text and photos I want to save, and then drag and drop them right into Gliider. Simple as that. I can drag and drop hotels, restaurants, even adventure tours from any site on the web. Gliider keeps all my travel info organized in one place, online, on any computer, offline, in a travel document I can email and print, or on my mobile device. But Gliider doesn't stop there. Gliider brings me deals specific to my trip, like great prices on hotels I've dropped into Gliider. When I see a deal I like, I just click and book. Gliider. It's how I plan funner trips. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's only 4 weeks and 3 days and 2 hours left until I'm kicking back on a white sand beach.
So that gives you a sense for how the Gliider platform works. Let's do a little demo. Let's plan a trip, shall we? So I'd like to go to San Francisco, one of my favorite cities. So I can see that Gliider's installed here on my browser. Pops down like that. I'm going to quickly log in. And I'm going to create a new trip to San Francisco. Let's just type in SFO, make it easy, and call it Fun by the Bay. Don't know exactly when I'm going, but I think I'm going to go in January for a few days, maybe a long weekend. So I'll tell Gliider approximately when I'm going. If I know exactly, I can put that in as well. And there you have it. I've created a trip. So I've got 9 folders purpose-built for travel, a couple of which I can customize, and I can use this to gather travel information from any site on the web. Now, one of my favorite travel sites is the New York Times travel section. I really like the recommendations. So here I am. You can see we're on an article called 36 Hours in San Francisco. Scrolling down, come across there's some hotels here at the bottom. These look interesting. I want to remember these. Not quite ready to book. These look like interesting places. I like the Times recommendations. So I want to hold on to them. Now, the next step I'm about to show you is one of the incredibly unique and exciting features about Glider, which is that if I want to hold on to this information and just this information, I can highlight it with my mouse and drag and drop it right into the hotels folder here. And it's been captured, it's cached locally, and it's set up to the Glider server. And if I want to look at that, I can click here. I can see that I've dragged something in there. Didn't get an image. So what I am going to do is scroll up here and take this image. So when I'm going back through this stuff, I've got something to jog my memory. And I can click again and see exactly the content that I pulled. So I've got the hotels. I've got links to those hotels. I know it came from this website. And I've got an ability down here to annotate it because I can share this trip with up to 4 other people. So cool. Got a hotel there. I'm a big cyclist too. So I think I want to maybe take a cycling tour while I'm in San Francisco. Here we are on the Blazing Saddles site. I'm going to highlight this information, which I want to save, drag and drop it right into the do folder. So great. I've got that information. It's in there. Let's pull another photo in. So it's already in there. Awesome. So I've got this amazing ability to go to any site on the web and pull travel information that I want to save. So if you think back for a moment, I've told Glider when I'm going. I've told Glider where I'm going. And now, by dint of the travel information that I've dragged and dropped in there, I've told Glider the kinds of things I'm interested in. So that's really valuable information, I think you'll agree. And what Glider does with that is brings you deals specific to your trip. So we're sort of the belief that a deal specific to your trip is 1,000 times more valuable than a deal that has absolutely nothing to do with a trip that I'm not going to take, right? So Glider brings me deals right here in my Deals tab. Looks like Glider's found me a room at the Intercontinental for $224. And this is a deal from one of our affiliate partners. In this case, it's Hotels.com. I can click here and book it. I'm taken to our partner's page. And if the internet is cooperating, I can go through and book. Looks like it's a little slow. Anyway, I'm off to the races. But you know what? I'm not quite sure I'm ready to book that trip. Intercontinental is probably a nice hotel, but I'd like somebody else's opinion. And so what are my choices now? I can go to a site and get somebody's random opinion, or I can ask some of maybe my well-traveled friends if they have a thought on what the Intercontinental is like. So I'm going to use Glider's Ask Around feature, which is our way to get you specific travel advice from people you know and trust. So I'm going to ask a question via Facebook, say, is the Intercon San Francisco any good? Now, I cheated a little bit. I set this up before and pushed the question out onto Facebook this morning. And I got an answer back from, well, let's see. I got one from my friend Ted, who said it's great. And, well, yeah, Rania Jamal stayed there a couple weeks ago. We definitely recommend it. And my friend Cam, too, said you should check out the Hotel Vitale. So these are people I know whose opinions I trust, and that's extraordinarily valuable. So that's great. I know where I'm going. I've got all my travel information. What am I going to do now? I've collected all this research. I need something to print out and take with me. And that's when I can go into Print and print out the aggregate of all my travel information in a really handy travel document. So it looks a lot like this. And it's a beautifully designed layout of all my travel information, all the stuff that I pulled that I can print out, shove in my backpack on the way to the airport. So in sum, what we have is a really elegant solution to a really messy problem. So we'll just go back into PowerPoint a little bit. So now, I mean, you'll have a real sense of, how Glider works. I want to talk a little bit about, what this means for online travel, what this means for everybody in this room. As we see it, Glider is not just the easiest research tool out there. It's a new platform for the travel industry. We sit, squarely between content and commerce, and our ability to basically take people's travel research, their intent, what they're about to do, and match it up with inventory that's out there. We look at your interests, we bring you deals specific to your interests, we keep all your information nice and organized. So here's the pitch. If you're a booking site, what Glider lets you do is serve up deals specific to travelers' interests before they book. If you think that's at all appealing to you, please come talk to me. We think this creates, massive value for the consumer because suddenly I'm getting deals that are entirely related to my interests. And if you're a booking site, this ups your conversion rates because it's targeted to what somebody's about to do. If you're a content site, Glider's a way to make money from content collected from your site and collected from any other site on the web, and puts you in a transactional space away from $3 CPMs. And maybe you've got another idea. I'd love to hear it. Come talk to me after the show. Thanks very much for all your time. As we see it, we multiply the value of content, and it all starts with just a really easy drag and drop. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jordan Stolper of Glider.